Paige Bueckers, the electric guard for the UConn Huskies, has become a transformative force in college basketball. From her breakout as a freshman, she's been heralded for her precision passing, lethal scoring, and natural leadership. Media outlets hailed her as a generational talent, drawing comparisons to NBA superstars for her skill, composure, and marketability. With accolades like AP Player of the Year in just her first season, Bueckers forged a path that seemed destined to mirror the legacies of UConn legends Diana Taurasi, Maya Moore, Napheesa Collier, and Breanna Stewart. Yet what sets Bueckers apart is her blend of hype and tangible performance. She isn't just collecting praise. She's rewriting the narrative around what a college guard can achieve. Her presence on social media is immense. Brands are lining up for endorsement deals, and her on-court flair resonates with fans beyond the traditional women's basketball crowd. For a time, it looked like nothing could impede her meteoric rise. Despite Bueckers' brilliance, the UConn Huskies have shown signs of vulnerability. Once the unstoppable juggernaut of women's hoops, they've dropped two crucial games to top-tier opponents Notre Dame and USC, leading to a steady slip in the AP rankings. This decline has prompted alarm among a fan base unaccustomed to seeing their beloved program struggle. One particularly stinging moment came in a 72-70 loss to number 7 USC, where Bueckers posted an impressive 22 points but couldn't lift her squad over the finish line. Injuries have played a major role in UConn's woes. Sharpshooter Azzi Fudd, for instance, has battled health setbacks, leaving the Huskies without key firepower. In the past, UConn's depth would mitigate such issues, but this version of the team finds itself leaning heavily on Bueckers to save the day. Even amid UConn's downturn, Bueckers remains a frontrunner for the 2025 WNBA Draft's top pick. Her play continues to dazzle, and individual excellence fuels the consensus that her draft stock isn't in immediate danger. Still, some question whether repeated losses to elite competition might eventually chip away at her unimpeachable status. Could there come a point when the narrative around her shifts, affecting how GMs view her? In general, WNBA scouts understand that team performance can't overshadow a star's raw talent and intangible leadership qualities, but a protracted slump sometimes casts doubts. In Bueckers' case, she's done enough to keep those doubts at bay, though fans can't help but wonder if UConn's struggles will influence public perception. All eyes point to the Dallas Wings, who currently hold the coveted top pick in the next WNBA draft. By all accounts, they'd welcome Bueckers to pair with their existing star, Arike Ogunbowale, creating a dynamic backcourt. Yet whispers abound that Bueckers might not be thrilled at the idea of playing in Dallas. Whether it's the team's roster makeup, market appeal, or coaching style, speculation holds that she could opt to delay her entry into the WNBA if she wants to avoid that particular landing spot. These rumors introduce a new dimension. For top talents in women's basketball, staying in college an extra year has become more viable thanks to NIL earnings. If Bueckers decides she'd rather skip the WNBA draft this year, she theoretically could remain with UConn, attempt to elevate the team back to a championship level, and re-enter the draft the following season. Paige could remain at UConn for the 2025/26 season as she has one final remaining year of NCAA eligibility. She is currently playing her redshirt senior season after she missed all of 2022-23 with a knee injury, leaving her one more year of eligibility because she enrolled in college during the height of the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020. It's an unprecedented level of flexibility for a female college star. Bueckers' predicament speaks to a broader challenge for star athletes in women's basketball. Historically, many players rush to the pro ranks for financial reasons. Today, with robust NIL deals, the urgency to jump may not be as pressing, especially for someone as marketable as Bueckers. Simultaneously, she faces the pressure to keep UConn relevant in the national title race. Fans expect the Huskies to reclaim their top-tier dominance, a tradition that's now under scrutiny. Injuries to her supporting cast only amplify the weight on her shoulders to deliver wins. If the team continues sliding, she might question whether returning for a struggling squad truly benefits her development. On the other hand, leaving early might mean suiting up for a franchise in the WNBA she isn't fully on board with. Both scenarios come with unique risks and rewards, placing Bueckers in a position of rare autonomy for a college athlete. Looking at UConn's season, it's clear Bueckers' individual output hasn't dipped. Even in narrow defeats, she fills the stat sheet. Points, assists, steals. Her mental toughness stands out too. No matter the opponent's ranking, she remains confident, orchestrating plays in crunch time and stepping up when teammates falter. But basketball is a 5-player game, and one star can't always prevail against well-rounded competition. UConn's losses underscore that Bueckers alone can't remedy every shortcoming. Some wonder if the relentless burden might affect her long-term health. Injuries have already reshaped several top careers prematurely. If UConn's roster doesn't rally around her, or if Fudd's absence lingers, Bueckers' decision to prolong her college tenure could become trickier. She must weigh whether continuing to shoulder that burden is worth it if the Huskies can't realistically contend for a national championship. For decades, UConn dominated women's hoops, forging an aura of near invincibility. Fans are understandably uneasy witnessing their beloved Huskies slip in the AP rankings. Head coach Gino Auriemma, known for guiding the program to multiple NCAA titles, also faces unprecedented challenges. It's a transitional period that's testing not only Bueckers' resilience, but the entire culture of UConn basketball. Critics suggest UConn might need time to adapt, incorporate new recruits, and regain health among its veterans. The question is whether that time frame aligns with Bueckers' goals. She entered college with the expectation of contending for national titles yearly, yet the reality of injuries, a tough schedule, and rising competition from squads like USC, South Carolina, UCLA, and Notre Dame has shaken the usual certainty. If these problems persist, might Bueckers opt to chart a pro course sooner rather than later? Even if it means heading to a WNBA organization she's lukewarm about? Traditionally, the #1 overall draft pick in the WNBA is a foregone conclusion when generational players like Bueckers come around. Her ability to score from all three levels, facilitate, and lead on the court seems tailor-made for the pro game. WNBA teams value skill sets that adapt seamlessly to quicker defenses and physical post battles. Bueckers checks those boxes, reminding many of past UConn alumni who stepped into the league as day one difference makers. Still, the draft hype also extends to other emerging college stars who might challenge her. If she suffers an ill-timed injury or fails to elevate UConn in marquee matchups, perhaps a rival could gain ground in the eyes of GMs. For now, Bueckers is widely considered the prime candidate for that #1 pick. The Dallas Wings, with glaring needs for an on-court leader, could see her as the final piece for a playoff push. But if she truly dislikes that scenario, she may use the NCAA's evolving rules or her own willingness to hold out. This dynamic introduces a new level of intrigue to the women's draft, something rarely seen before. Despite the swirling uncertainties, Bueckers retains the upper hand in the #1 pick debate for several reasons. First, her skill set. There's no guard in the country who matches her blend of offense, vision, and on-ball defense at her level of consistency. Coaches rave about her basketball IQ, describing it as on par with seasoned pros. Second, her mental toughness sets her apart. She welcomes big game pressure, as shown in her epic performances, even in losing efforts. Third, her brand appeal is immense, meaning a WNBA franchise gains not just a star player, but a marketing magnet who could boost ticket sales, merchandise, and overall media attention. With these advantages, it's unlikely that UConn's slip in the rankings alone will cost her the top draft spot. WNBA executives recognize that college standings are influenced by context, teammate injuries, scheduling quirks, mid-season slumps. A star's potential often shines brightest in adversity. Bueckers' ability to still produce eye-popping stats signals she can handle the rigors of a pro league regardless of how this season wraps up for the Huskies. So where does Bueckers go from here? If she's comfortable with the Dallas Wings and they hold the #1 pick, she might jump as soon as she's eligible, eager to test herself at the next level. That path would let her start her pro career while her brand value remains at its peak. However, if the rumor mill is correct and she's not enamored with the Wings, she might decide to return for another NCAA season, hoping either a different team snags the top draft slot or UConn rebounds enough to let her exit on a championship high. In the meantime, her focus remains on reversing UConn's fortunes. She'll push the younger players, rally them in the locker room, and fight to maintain the program's storied legacy. Should the Huskies manage a late-season surge, it'd reaffirm her leadership credentials and remind people why she's a once-in-a-generation phenomenon. If injuries persist and the losses mount, she can still hold her head high by continuing to post extraordinary numbers and demonstrate unwavering determination. Amid all the hype and speculation, one fact is undeniable: Paige Bueckers is the real deal. Yes, her Huskies are losing ground in the AP polls, and yes, a battered roster has left her carrying a disproportionate load. But time and again, she's shown she can shoulder that weight and still dazzle. For the 2025 WNBA draft, she remains the consensus #1 pick, destined for the Dallas Wings. The narrative, however, is no longer simple. UConn's struggles mean Bueckers is forging her legacy amid unexpected adversity. She balances the responsibilities of a battered college team, the chatter about her professional destiny, and her personal brand ambitions in a sport on the brink of a new era. The next few months will be critical. Each game, each injury update, each rank slip pushes another wave of speculation. Will she bolt early? Will she return to restore UConn's dominance? Or will external factors, like which WNBA team holds the #1 pick, shape her decisions. In the end, few players embody their moment like Paige Bueckers does right now. She stands at the intersection of a storied program's quest for redemption, a pro league hungry for fresh star power, and an NCAA environment that finally grants athletes the freedom to capitalize on their fame. Whatever path she takes, jumping to the wings, holding out for a different draft scenario, or giving UConn another shot, she'll remain central to how we talk about women's basketball in 2024 and beyond. Ultimately, her talent, drive, and leadership suggest she can transcend UConn's current woes and maintain her top pick status. All that's left is for her and the Huskies to find the right script to turn this season into another bold chapter in her unfolding legend.